was it last year or 2 years ago? Winnie the Pooh became public domain, and that's why they made that horror movie.
It's like, yo, if I saw a yellow bear with no pants on with like a fucking machete running after me,
Right?
I'm hightailing it out of there. I don't think I've sat down with anybody that has actually owned their own comic book shop.
I think every couple of years people freak out. They're like, "Oh, this is the death of the industry." Like, you know, like when digital comics started becoming a thing, they're like, "Oh, no one's gonna want print books anymore." I always tell people the same thing. There's still record stores. You know what I mean? Like,
it's facts. It's facts. It's not facts. These facts are not facts.
Both studios, both Marvel and DC, like they bank on their like, yo, there's so many Spider-Man books, there's so many Batman books out right now, and it's just kind of like. It gets to a point where like, you gotta kind of like branch out, man. Especially like those studios that've been around for like 80 years.
It's because fucking Batman is the fucking truth, man. He's a fucking legend. He's not perfect. He's like super rich, but he's like traumatized dramatically. And he has cool fucking villains. Like all his villains have mental health problems. And it's like everybody in America has mental health problems, and we fucking relate to fucking Joker and fucking Riddler and all that shit.
That's a little scary.
Yeah, it's a little scary. It's a little scary. But America's a little scary. The world's a little scary.
So, that's true too.
I'll dive off negativity.
Did you see the alien that Mexico just released or the images and shit?
I love the fact that they brought them out like in little coffins. Right? Did you see the X-rays?
Yes, I saw the X-rays. I saw the nipple clamps that the fucking alien had. I saw the fucking hard-boiled egg that they're saying it was pregnant. It's like, I remember we were speaking over the phone. And well, first, how you got on my radar was Daniel D. Calvo. That's my boy out there. Shout out to Daniel. He actually is the reason why I started all of this shit.
Nice.
Yeah. He was an editor with Concrete. He's also got his project, which we're going to be talking about aliens and shit like that, obviously, with your project. But yeah, man, how'd you get linked up with Daniel? How do you know Daniel?
A friend of mine, Javier Hernandez, I think he was on Daniel's podcast, and he told me about it, and then I looked into it, and I read his whole backstory about how, you know, the whole thing of how he came to this country and how he got into comics, and it was just really interesting. And then I just happened, I think that week, I found his Andy Starboy book at a store, and I was like, this is cool, and I reached out to him, asking him, when's the next one coming out? And he was like, oh, I'm working on something else, and, you know, I'll get to it eventually, and we just started talking from there.
That bastard, yo. I kept telling him. I was like, yo, we need a second one, bro.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Shout out to Daniel. But yeah, I mean, let's introduce this real quick. Everybody, for today's episode, I have somebody that I've been excited to sit down with. Like I said, Daniel told me about his story that I had. I didn't get a chance to read it yet. I know the Kickstarter is live now. But I have Peter Mellini. He is the owner of Nostalgic Comics. So if you're out in California, Southern California, in the LA area, make sure you guys visit him. And he is also the author of Gordo, the Teenage Flying Saucer. Freaking dude who gets powers from a flying saucer. That has my name written all over it, bro. So let's get into that. Talk about it. How'd you get that idea? I saw some of the things that inspired you, but I want you to say it yourself.
So it's funny. It's actually, so me and my writing partner, Miguel, we had found a list of like 400 public domain characters, like public domain superheroes. Okay. And that was like a big thing at the time. Like a lot of people were like revamping like public domain heroes. And we went through them and we were like, you know what? We went away for a week and we're like, when we come back, you pick a couple, I'll pick a couple, and we'll figure it out. And the one we both agreed on.
Wait, pause for a second. What the hell is a public domain character? Oh, for the people who don't know what that is, of course I know what it is.
Yeah. So they're basically characters that no one holds the rights to anymore, either because the company's went out of business and they didn't renew it, or after like I think it's like 60 years or something like that. Like, you know, it just, you know, people, you can't get the rights for it anymore. So it just becomes a public, like Sherlock Holmes, some of his stories are public domain, like Dracula, Frankenstein, a lot of that stuff is just anyone could do it.
You know? Wait, so you could take, like, you can't take the character Dracula, can you?
Yeah, but you can't do like the Universal Studios version, but you can do like the original Dracula or your version of Dracula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's pretty crazy because stuff has been going on for so long. Like next year, the original Mickey Mouse, like Steamboat Willie, is public domain. Uh,
Wait, time out. Disney didn't like, yo, let's scoop up this freaking IP right here. They just leave it out there for anybody to take.
well, no, but the thing is, so it was supposed to be really 60 years. Now it's like 90 years, because Disney kept on trying to like extend that law, but now it's gone as far as it can go. So like next year, you can use the image of like Steamboat Willie, and yeah, it's public domain.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's
and I
cool.
think
I don't know if anybody's gonna use that shit, but I don't
yeah,
know, maybe.
well, because was it last year? Was it last year or 2 years ago? Like Winnie the Pooh became public domain, and that's why they made that horror movie.
That's crazy. Oh, the
Yeah,
horror movie Winnie the Pooh. Really?
yeah,
So that's where shit
yeah.
like that comes. That's how you could
Hmm.
get. I was wondering. I was like, yo, Disney really let Winnie the Pooh serial killer monster slide? Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck? That's crazy. All right, there
yeah.
you go. That explains a lot now.
But there's a lot of little details, and like Winnie the Pooh is like public domain, but not the one with the red shirt. That's a Disney property, so it's
Gotcha.
complicated. Yeah,
The killer, I feel like the killer had a red shirt.
he probably did. I think he had like a flannel, right, or something
Yeah,
like
he had something on. It's like, yo,
that.
if I saw a yellow bear with no pants on with like a fucking machete running after me,
Right?
I'm hightailing it out of there.
Yeah.
That's
But,
crazy.
but yeah, so we were looking at the time. There was a lot of people doing that. They were finding public domain characters and like revamping them, making them more modern or whatever.
Okay.
And we came across this character called Fat Man, the Human Flying Saucer, and it was created by the guys that created Shazam, right?
Really?
And it was their follow up to Shazam, and it only lasted 3 issues, and they gave up on the company altogether.
Wait, wait.
Yeah,
So we're talking about like Shazam, like DC, like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so they went from Shazam. I mean, yeah, I guess if
yeah,
it depends on what era, because then I was
yeah.
gonna ask you because and I don't know if you could see like their art styles and or like sheets and
Hmm.
shit like that, but your character or at least the design of it
Hmm.
reminds me of when I used to watch like WB cartoons and Cartoon
Okay.
Network,
Yeah, yeah,
shit like that. I forget what's the name of that dude who had like the robotic arms and he had the red jacket and the sunglasses. I forget his name.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it kind of reminded me of that or something like a Ben 10.
yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, so the basically, I hunted down those 3 issues. There's only 3 issues that exist. We me and Miguel, we read through them and they were so silly. They're so over the top and weird. And so we were like, let's adapt this. Let's do something with this. And we tried for like years. Like we did like a straight adaptation. It was just like too silly. And we tried to do like a serious version. We tried to do like different versions. And eventually we came to the conclusion that if we made him a kid, you could be a little goofy, but still, tell you know, a, a serious story.
Okay.
And that's what, but the thing is now, we developed it for so long that like now the book is more inspired by those books. Like it's so different from those original books.
Yeah. That's good. That's good though.
Yeah,
You got your own identity now.
yeah, yeah. And so
Cool.
it's just fun. Like we keep telling people it's like an old school like 60s era like superhero book. Like it's not too crazy, it's not too violent, but it's also like it's an all ages book, so like kids can get into it, but there's stuff in there for like adults that like the kids won't get, you know?
Nice, nice. That's always like the best when you
Hmm.
have like the stuff for kids, but then there's
Yeah,
like a sprinkle of adult stuff in there. That's like
yeah,
Nickelodeon back in the day.
yeah,
I like that. I
yeah,
like that. So, all right, cool. So you guys flipped the name. So it was originally called Fat Man, but now it's Gordo. I know
yeah,
Gordo is fat or fat boy, fat man, whatever in
yeah,
Spanish. Is
yeah.
that the same in Italian too?
I have no idea.
You don't speak
Maybe.
Italian?
No, no, no.
All right. Yeah, it's very rare to find an Italian that speaks Italian. I
No.
grew up in New York, Long Island. Like it doesn't get more Italian than that, other than maybe like the Bronx or something. But
Yeah, yeah.
nobody that I knew that was Italian spoke Italian.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right. So we got Gordo, and his superpower is he basically has like a suit from a UFO?
Sort of, yeah. So he's got this what do you call it? We call it the bioship. So it's an energy that's literally in his cells, and it transforms him into pieces. So he essentially could turn into a flying saucer, but it's more of like, yeah, like you said, like a suit. So like he's got these like rocket boots, and he's got these like gauntlets, and he's got this like chest plate that has like a tractor beam on it and stuff like that.
I like it. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. When you guys made this, or even like now, like you have your Kickstarter up, and
Hmm.
I'll post a link of it in the YouTube description and Spotify and all that shit. Are you making this with the aspect of, hey, this is just going to be specifically a comic, or down the road are we looking at animation a little bit?
I mean that's the goal. I think anything is just kind of like expanding and whatnot. Like yeah, but no, like you said, like right now it's specifically a comic. Like if someone
Okay.
wants to do something with it, that'd be amazing. Like we
Yeah.
joke around all the time about like movies and animated and stuff like that. Like
Cool.
me and my creative team, we actually joked around like kind of fan casted it and the whole thing.
Gotta find that fat kid, yo. Yo, fat
Yeah.
kids back in the freaking 90s, legendary. Goldberg,
Yep.
the
Yep.
Goldberg from Mighty Ducks, and
Hmm.
heavyweights, fucking, what's the name? Porter or Ham from
Yeah.
Sandlot. Fucking
Yeah. Yeah.
legendary kids right there. All right, so now and I'm gonna bounce around a little bit, but like
Hmm.
I said, we like to chill. So you own your own comic book shop. I don't think I've
Yeah.
sat down with anybody that has actually
Yeah.
owned their own comic book shop. So many different ways that I could, ask you a bunch of questions.
Hmm.
But owning your own shop, where do
Yeah.
you see the state of comic books as far as people purchasing interesting comic books, all of that stuff right now?
Hmm. I mean, it's it's crazy. Like, so I've owned the store 11 years this month. Yeah.
There we go. Anybody that has a business that's over 2 years, over, clap it up, clap it up.
Thanks, man.
Congratulations.
And it had its ups and downs. Like we were closed for a couple months due to the pandemic,
Mm,
and then we had to like really literally change everything and like how we did things post pandemic. And the thing is, like, it's weird. Like literally when when the lockdowns ended, like everything shot up. It was crazy. Like we were doing the best we had in years, and now I feel like it's leveling out.
it's
You
because
know,
motherfuckers was home bored. We didn't have
yeah,
nothing else to do.
yep. But I think it's leveling out now. I think it's weird. Like you see stuff all the time. Like, you see like some of these big studios, they're like shutting down or like, well, they're not paying people and stuff like that, and it's crazy. But it kind of makes sense because I think it's people are being more picky with what they're getting.
Mm,
But I mean, as far as from my point of view, we see the same people almost every week. Like like it's pretty constant. It's pretty. We've had some issues here and there, but I feel like it's all right so far. Like I don't. I think every couple of years people freak out. They're like, "Oh, this is the death of the industry." Like like when digital comics started becoming a thing, they're like, "Oh, no one's gonna want print books anymore." I always tell people the same thing. There's still record stores. You know what I mean? Like people still like
yeah.
you know they like what they like. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yep. Taylor Swift. Taylor
yeah,
Swift just sold an insane amount of like physical copies of her
mhm,
actual album. She did physical and
yeah,
digital. Fuck streams.
yeah.
So I mean, people still like to have an actual
Mhm.
physical product.
And it's funny. Like I think it's really rare that I hear people say that they prefer digital comics over print comics. Um, Most people that only read digital is only because like well they just want to check it out. They're not because the thing is
Okay.
it'll never overtake it because digital comics you pure digital comics would lose the freaking collectability of it. Like what's the point at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I would say the best thing about actually having physical is
Hmm.
that it's like you have it. It's like a badge of
Yeah.
honor. It's like a
Hmm.
souvenir. It's like yours. Especially
Yeah.
the ones that like put numbers on it. It's like, yo, you got number like 200 or version 200. Oh shit, like,
Yeah.
that's dope. But yeah, there's definitely a place for physical copies.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So
That's cool.
so yeah. So I think everything's cool. I mean, you never know. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think no one could have predicted what happened in 2020.
Yeah, I would. I wish. If
Yeah,
I predicted, I would be so far ahead of where I am right now. It's not even funny. I started
yeah,
all of this after COVID. It was because of COVID, but like I
yeah,
really got into gear after COVID, and I missed that wave of just the attention span, and people were able to grow their platforms, grow
yeah.
their businesses, grow whatever because
Hmm.
you had everybody's attention span. It was locked in. And who knows? We may not see something like that ever again in our lifetime, but maybe we will. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
I hope it's not like that severity where it's like a
yeah.
COVID situation. Maybe it's like something else,
Hmm.
um, but that's good. So you have your comic book store. You've been around for 11 years. You have the regulars that come in.
Hmm.
Do you see any trends with the comic books that you hold? The ones that like immediately go off the shelves?
No, man. You know what? I wish I could. I wish I was able to predict that kind of stuff. Like a lot of times, it just happens, man. You never know. And it sucks too because you really can't plan for it. Because there's times when, like, the studios will tell us, like, "Oh, this is gonna be big. This is gonna be big," and then you're like, "Okay, cool," and it's not. Like it's just, it's the most randomest things that blow up.
Mm. Do you look into like the way the companies market the comic,
I
or
mean,
do they
sort
just like
of.
release it?
Yeah, like the marketing for comics, like mainstream comics, is weird, man. Like you can tell what they're banking on by what they're marketing,
Yeah,
but like literally, like there's books that some of my favorite books on the shelves right now, like get no freaking like marketing love.
yeah,
Like I'll tell people about like right now there's this Doom Patrol book out by DC. It's probably the most fun book that they put out in years. And I'll tell people about it, and they're just like, "There's a Doom Patrol book." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yo, you know what's funny? I've been trying to find the fucking no. I'm sorry, not Doom Patrol. What the fuck is it? It's the new shit that James Gunn is coming out with.
oh
Um,
yeah,
Creature Commandos.
yeah,
I was trying to find that digitally actually, and I
yeah, hmm,
couldn't find a way to get it off of the DC app. So I
yeah,
was just like, all right, I kind of gave up there. So that kind of
yeah,
sucked for them in that aspect. But
yeah,
but yeah, so you say that you recommended Doom Patrol and people were like, yo, what the fuck is that? Or
yeah,
they have a Doom Patrol fucking series out. I thought it was just
yeah,
like a
yeah.
TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. And I feel like in both studios, both Marvel and DC, like they bank on their there's so many Spider-Man books, there's so
Yeah.
many Batman books out right now, and it's just kind of like it gets to a point where like you gotta kind of like branch out, man. Especially like those studios that they've been around for like 80 years. They have so many characters that they could be like pushing.
It's fucking money though. It's money
Yeah,
and it's the
yeah,
popularity of the
hmm,
actual character. So that's why it's like that character is the marketing
yeah,
now.
yeah,
You come out with a new Spider-Man book, it's like Spider-Man, like that's all you really need is the name.
hmm,
There's other characters, like I see you got your Superman shirt on.
yeah,
Me, I'm like it's like I like Superman, but it's like he's just so boring to me. I don't know.
yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah. He's one of those where it's just like he's too perfect. He's too perfect. And I know he has stories where he's not perfect, but
Yeah,
I'm more of a Batman fan.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you.
I, Out of let's start with DC.
Hmm.
Out of DC, who's like the most popular that everybody picks up?
I like Batman. I think anytime there's a new Batman book, like the one thing I noticed the other day, and I was like talking to a friend of mine, it drives me nuts that DC pushes Batman Day. That's like this Saturday, and they make a big thing out of it. They have free books and they do all this stuff, right? But Action Comics #1, like the thing that started DC, the first version of Superman, came out in September as well,
Mm.
and they never talk about that shit. Like
It's because fucking Batman is the fucking truth, man. He's a fucking legend. He's not perfect. He's like super rich, but he's like traumatized
yeah,
dramatically. And he has cool fucking villains. Like all his villains have mental health
yeah,
problems.
yeah,
And it's like everybody in America has mental health problems. And we fucking relate to fucking Joker and fucking Riddler and all that shit.
yeah. That's a
So
little
it's,
scary.
yeah, it's a little scary. It's a little
Yeah,
scary. But America's a little scary. The world's a little
that's true.
scary. So there
That's
you
true
go.
too. That's true
Um,
too.
Cool. And so we got that now out of Marvel. Which ones are like the hot cakes? The ones that like sell immediately?
Oh, you get the Spider-Man books. Like most Spider-Man books will fly off the shelf, man. Like
Right.
and then post like Spider-Verse, like when those movies come out, it shoots up a lot, like and Marvel's really dumb when it comes to that though, because I don't know how they didn't realize that Spider-Punk was going to be a huge character, because there's no Spider-Punk book right now. Like they should have done a miniseries that
I don't,
team.
I don't know. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think they knew that Spider Punk was going to be as popular
Yeah,
as they expected it to be. Like obviously it was like one of the main characters, but what do we love and what do
yeah,
like black people love? And
yeah,
we love fucking Daniel Kaluuya who does the
yeah.
voiceover. We love the way he talks. Like he
Hmm.
talks like an authentic top boy or whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it from London. Like we like
yeah,
that shit. I to be honest, I don't know if anybody at Marvel was going to be able to call that.
yeah. That's true too.
Yeah, that especially in America. But
Yeah,
yeah, they need to they got to get on that. Now,
yeah,
out of both of them, even though you have the t-shirt on, but
yeah.
whatever. Out of both, Marvel and DC, which one inspired you to create your own comic?
That's a tough question. It's somewhere in the middle. Like I say, I like to tell people that it's funny because I had always thought about this, but one day I talked to a scout from Scout Comics, an editor from Scout Comics, who literally told me that he felt that first issue of Gordo was, it felt like early Spider-Man,
Really?
and I was like, oh, that's fucking cool
That's
because
a
I kind
fucking
I
good compliment right there.
right right, and I always had that in mind because like he has a secret identity, and I feel like that's something that's kind of gone away in recent years.
Yeah.
Like that used to be like the most when I was a kid growing up. Like that was the most important thing in a superhero thing. Like every superhero book had the subplot of like, oh shit, someone's gonna figure out I'm so and so. Like like or like I can't let this person figure out. And now it's like so many people know the identities. Like it's like the general public obviously don't know, but like you read like the current Miles book, and like his family knows. His fucking he's had like three different girlfriends in the last couple of series, and he's told them all, right?
I wonder if it has anything to do with obviously we know the rule. It's like, if you're a superhero, wear a mask. You don't want
Yeah,
people around you to get hurt. But
yeah,
and that
yeah,
was the same way with kind of celebrities like back then. Like celebrities had this specific mystique. Like you didn't know where they lived. You didn't
yeah,
know their favorite food. Like you didn't know shit about the celebrities. You would see
yeah.
Will Smith in Independence Day, Fresh Prince, and then that's
Hmm.
it. You didn't even know if he had kids or anything. But
Yeah,
now in today's day and age, it's like, yo, we see Jeff Bezos every single day on social media. So
yeah,
we
yeah,
already know it. It's like, yo, if these multi-billionaires don't have enemies and their families are safe, then maybe us as like if I had superpowers, I always think it's like, yo, I might be flashy as fuck. It's like
yeah,
if I was Spider-Man, if I want everybody to know that bminusTV is rescuing your ass, so you
yeah.
better like come correct, right? Bring
No,
presents
yeah.
and shit. I don't know. That's just like my wild thinking, but I don't know. Maybe that's what it is now. It's like you
Hmm.
can be a little bit more flashy with your superpowers.
Yeah, because you think about it, if they were to do Spider-Man now, instead of selling pictures to like the Daily Bugle or whatever, he would just become like an influencer, right? Like he would just make money that way, right?
No, I never even thought of that. I wonder what they're gonna do with Tom Holland Spider Man now, because it's
Yeah,
like you're not taking pictures of yourself and giving it to the Daily Bugle. It's like, yo, create your own Instagram and TikTok,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
freaking blow up like that.
Hmm.
That's smart that you
Yeah,
brought that up. I never even thought of that.
yeah. It's probably and it's because there's always that running joke where there was like an issue of She-Hulk where She-Hulk talked Spider-Man into suing J. Jonah Jameson, but the whole thing at the end was that they realized, well, even if he won, he couldn't pay him because he's Spider-Man. Like he can't just
Yeah,
hand over a check to Spider-Man.
just make it out to this dude Peter Parker. He manages
Yeah,
my
like,
finances, right?
he'll take care of it.
Yeah, right. He manages my finances and takes pictures of me for you. So
Yeah,
double the salary, actually.
there you go.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fucking funny. That's hilarious. All
Yeah.
right, cool. So we got so we're in like the middle. All right, I
Hmm.
like that. We don't have allegiance to any side.
Yeah, yeah.
Um All right, cool. I don't got to beat up the DC side of you now. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. What outside of comics influence you to not only create your own comic, but also create that character and that story?
I read a lot of cartoons, man. Me and my friend Miguel, that co-writes a book with me, we always talk about how it sucks that there's no such thing as Saturday morning cartoons anymore.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? And I feel like
You're speaking my language.
yeah,
You're speaking my language right now.
and that was like a genre. Like I mean, there were so many weird cartoons that came out of that, but it was just like oh, but it's a Saturday morning cartoon. That was the best description of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that stuff came out of wanting to do that again. You know, like we've talked about for years of doing like an anthology where we get different artists to create like short stories that are kind of in that vein of Saturday morning cartoons. 'Cause I feel like that's not a thing anymore, man. Like it's just
Yeah.
I mean, you could stream cartoons all day if you want now, you know.
Yeah, there's a comic book publisher. I want to say TikTok Tom, but it's just like a collection of different artist stories and everything in a comic,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Nice.
Almost like you remember Kablam, right?
Yeah.
It's very very similar to that. But
Oh, nice.
I say that all the time because I have kids. I don't know if you have kids,
No.
but one of the things is like when we were younger. I'm 34. How old are you?
41.
41. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So when we were younger, it's like, yo, when you like everybody watched Saturday morning cartoons. There was really like 3-4 channels that had Saturday morning cartoons, and if you watched it, you can go to school the next morning and say, yo, did you watch Batman Beyond, or did you watch
Yeah.
Jackie Chan Adventures? Yo, did you see what Valmont did with the fucking talismans? Yo, that shit was fucking great. Like you could do all of that shit. You can't really do that now. Like there's no scheduled programming TV. It's just like you're like I don't know. There's just like that mystique to it that made it awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think too, like I think the modern cartoons, they're totally different. Where it's not a bad thing. It's just it's very like it's so different than that. Where like I think when older Saturday cartoons, they were like one episode, you had your adventure, and then it would reset. And so like the next episode, you didn't have to watch the previous one, but it still worked. Now they're like these big epics, and which is cool. I can enjoy that, but it just I don't know. I think it makes it a little harder for like kids to get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't really watch. I, I don't really watch cartoons. I mean, as like you would say, like a Nickelodeon or
Yeah.
a Cartoon Network. I don't know if there's any new channels or whatever. I guess like you go by the apps now.
Yeah.
But I watch DC like animated movies. I watch
Yeah.
Young Justice, or
Yeah.
I'm big into anime. Like that's my shit. But yeah, they're all just basically stories. There isn't anything that is just like an episode. It's like crazy shit, and then shit difference. What I have watched is Cuphead. You ever watch
Oh,
Cuphead on Netflix?
I haven't seen that.
You have to watch that. If you like Saturday morning cartoons and like Looney Tunes and shit like that, Cuphead is fucking funny as hell. The animation is literally from the era of Looney Tunes and shit. It's a little bit like demonic theme, but not really, but it's for kids. But that's why I like it, because it reminds me of what we watched on fucking Nickelodeon and shit.
Yeah.
But that shit's good. That's probably like the closest that I watched to an actual cartoon.
Oh, I got you.
Cool. What was like your favorite cartoon growing up?
Oh man, I was a big Turtles fan. Like I was a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan.
Okay. I
You
like it.
know,
I like it.
and I try to keep up with it. Like they've had so many series, and I'll watch them here and there. Have you seen the new movie?
No, I haven't. I have not. I gotta watch that. I forgot why I didn't go to the movies. I think I had something with like my kids. My kids are
Yeah.
only 2 and 3, so I can't take them to the movie
Oh,
theater
I got you,
yet.
got you.
Yeah. But I heard it was really good. I heard it was
Yeah,
really good. Yeah.
yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I think it's the first time in like freaking 40 years that the Turtles were actually teenagers, which was fun.
Yes.
They played on that a lot more than any other series.
I mean, there's a gap between 13 and 19. So like when I'm thinking of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like my favorite version is the live action movie, the first one and the
Yeah,
second one. Like
yeah,
they were almost like grown ass men, but they could have been 18, 19, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I guess yeah, it's like your depiction on what teen is, but I do like the aspect of making them a little bit younger. I love some of like the New Yorker jokes that they throw in there. I actually just made a video on that shit today.
Oh, nice.
I also like the choices of the voiceovers for all of the other characters.
Yeah, they
I
went
thought
really
that was
big.
really cool.
Yeah, they went really big on that cast. It was crazy.
Yeah. I hope it did successful. I gotta watch it. I may buy it on like my Apple TV or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
I think
All right.
they announced that they're doing like they're doing a sequel, but there's going to be a Paramount Plus series that bridges the gap between the sequel and the current one and the sequel.
Good. I like that. They should start doing more shit
Yeah,
like that. I think maybe Marvel was the first with like their
yeah,
series and the movies and shit.
hmm
As long
hmm
as they keep it the same quality, don't dumb down the quality.
yeah,
That's all I ask for. Keep
yeah,
the quality the same or even higher to like match it and shit, and you're fucking straight.
yeah.
Uh, all right, cool. So we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So is Gordo kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like that aspect?
I
Like
mean,
I'm talking about like the cartoon.
kind of. It's an adventure comic. It's old school superheroes. Basically, his whole thing is he's got the power of a flying saucer, and this town is like ground zero for aliens. There's
Okay.
aliens hiding all over the place, and we can explain why later on. But like
Yeah.
he just deals with it. Like so, he's basically a superhero. He's fighting these aliens. But there's this whole tricky thing where like there's this general who hunts aliens, and he's after him. He's after Gordo too because he doesn't know what he is. He
Yeah.
just sees he sees this guy flying around. He doesn't know what he is, and there's this kind of like unspoken alliance where whenever Gordo defeats an alien, he leaves it with the general because he's like, I don't know what to do with it, like I don't, and it becomes this kind of this thing where it's like it's back and forth. It's gonna get pretty crazy.
Giving them the credit. I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
That's smart.
yeah,
That's smart.
yeah,
Smart for
right.
character wise. Did you see the alien that Mexico just
Yeah,
released or the images and shit?
dude, I love the fact that they brought him out like in little coffins, right?
Bro, the most craziest, not even crazy in like a yo, this is so insane. It's just like, come on.
Yeah,
Come on. Like be real. Like you like and I was watching and obviously there's always two sides to everything. There's the people that's like, yo, this is real, blah blah blah.
yeah,
And then there's the people that's, yo, this is fake, it's been
yeah,
debunked, whatever. And I'm always in the middle of shit because that like when you're in the middle, like that gray area, that's where all the comedy like
yeah,
lingers.
yeah,
And I always
hmm
like making jokes out of any situation. Obviously not any situation. I don't want to, not stuff tragic, but
yeah,
this shit is fucking hilarious. Like the thing, like the alien is like a small little like starburst size fucking
yeah,
dried out fuck. I don't even know what it is. It was like, yo,
yeah,
how could you possibly think that this thing was ever anything?
yeah. Well, did you see
Crazy.
that? Did you see the X-rays?
Yes, I
Yeah,
saw the X-rays.
I was like,
I saw the nipple clamps that the fucking alien had. I saw the fucking hard-boiled egg that they're saying it
uh,
was pregnant. It's like, so how come the egg is just like a solid white color and every like if it was a
yeah,
fetus, like you would see it in the X-ray. Like,
yeah, yeah. I think the craziest thing though is the fact that it just kind of shows how crazy our world is right now. Is that this is the government? Like this is the Mexican government doing this, and people were like, all right, cool." Like,
yeah. Yeah, well, it's not actually the government had like a Mexican Congress or whatever it's called.
yeah,
They're having their hearing,
yeah,
and this guy, I forget his name, he's actually bringing this. So this is like his
yeah,
making or owning or whatever it is.
yeah,
So it's not the government saying, "Hey, this is what we have." No, this is they're giving the platform to this
yeah,
guy to say, "Hey, this is the alien biologics that we have."
yeah,
Um and like I said, it's like, yo, if that's the shit that we're supposed to be afraid of an alien invasion, sign me up for the military. I'm definitely getting at least a 200 body count. This is gonna be the easiest war that humans have ever had on the history of fucking Earth. That shit, it was fucking tiny as hell.
yeah. It was weird looking, man.
fucking weird. And I would expect the alien to be weird looking. And I hate the people who are like, oh, but you don't know what an alien looks like.
Yeah.
Neither do you.
Yeah.
We've had hundreds of movies of different variety of alien. They could have picked any one of these and they took that thing. It looks like if I threw like Vaseline on it, that it would just like disintegrate. Like it would be immediately freaking gone.
That's funny, man.
Insane, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
thank God we have creators like yourself that can make way more interesting stories around
There
the
you go.
topic of aliens than what the freaking government is coming up with.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's it's funny, man. It is hilarious. But I do like the stuff that, and not to say that, I didn't see anything else from the Mexican hearing on it. I just saw that one thing, but I do like some of the stuff that we're talking about in the United States hearing about some of the UAPs and UFOs
yeah,
that are flying around.
yeah.
It's just kind of it's intriguing, it's interesting, it's scary, it's also
Yeah.
cool at the same time.
It's just crazy, man, how like it just happened out of nowhere. Like it just, all these reports started popping up, and like it was just, Did you
Yeah.
hear about that thing in Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Um I think I I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. So
Yeah.
I can't tell what any of that. You're talking about the one where the police officer saw like the thing in the sky and then the family was like, "Yo, there was aliens in our backyard and shit."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't speak Spanish. So, and I should have asked some of my Spanish speaking friends
Yeah.
to translate, but like I don't know what they're saying in that video, and the one kid who speaks English, she's the only one talking. So,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's a crazy story. It's wild as
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah. Because the only thing I remember was she said something about that they were like 7 feet tall. Like they were talking about they're 7 feet tall and this and that. But then like what happened to that? 'Cause then like no one talked about that afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know. I from what I was seeing, because I was paying attention to the news on it, that the family just up and left their house.
Yeah.
So, the boy was supposed to come out with footage of what he said he had, but
Hmm.
he just fucking disappeared. So who knows? Maybe they were just faking it and they like decided to up and leave because it was too hot. Or
Yeah.
maybe some government entity or some private entity was like, yo,
Yeah.
give us all of your shit in here and we're moving you to a specific location and you guys can't talk about any of this shit. I have no idea, but it's just another one of those things where it's like, fuck, yo, I wish we had answers and shit.
It's crazy. So nearby, a couple years ago, it was a while ago, there was this big Walmart near where my girlfriend lived, and out of nowhere they just closed it. Like
Hmm.
they just shut it down with like no real explanation. And the pharmacy was left open, but they when you would walk inside, they built these huge walls so you couldn't see past the pharmacy.
Really?
And they were doing something, right? I remember seeing a video about how Boeing used to have a factory right there, and they were saying that they were digging up freaking alien fucking spaceships.
I mean, yo, that's
Right,
crazy. That's
right.
crazy. I could get very fucking nerdy right now.
Yeah.
I can get very fucking nerdy. So, Bob Lazaar. Have you ever heard of Bob Lazaar?
No.
Oh my god, how have you never heard of Bob Lazaar? All right, cool. We're about to school you right now. So, this is like in like the early 80s, like late 70s. Like, there's another guy. I forget his name. Chris something, I don't know. But basically, between him and Bob Lazar, they're like the two people who are like the first people to say that, hey, the government are working on UFOs, like they're real. Like
Hmm.
there's a
Hmm.
Roswell, New Mexico shit that happened that had witnesses, they saw bodies, UFOs, like everything.
Hmm.
The police, military came, cleaned it up, and said, "Oh, it was a fucking
Yeah.
weather
Weather
balloon or
balloon.
some shit
Weather
like
balloon.
that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
whatever." And then we didn't hear nothing for like years, but people still did like see shit or whatever. There was Betty and Barney Hill, which was compelling, which is crazy. There was also that other guy who's in Arizona, and I always forget his name too. We'll talk about him in a second. But Bob
Yeah.
Lazar was basically the person who worked at S4, which is in Nevada, which is right near you. Um, and basically, it was this facility to where they were back engineering. these UFOs that they have
Yeah.
discovered, from crashes to archaeological digs that they found UFOs or whatever. And Bob Lazaar was basically like, they contacted him to work with him because he was driving around fucking Las Vegas in a
Mm-hmm.
Honda that had that he built a rocket onto it. So
Oh
he's
shit.
going like 800 miles per hour on the fucking I-75. I don't know, whatever fucking highways in fucking on the
Mm-hmm.
West Coast. I'm from East Coast, man. I don't
Yeah.
know shit over here. Um, and so they were like, yo, we know you're a scientist. We know you're good at your shit. You went to this school. We're going to interview you. And if you get to work on special projects. So he
Yeah.
ends up getting a job. He goes into this facility. They have like this weird technology shit, like security system that he's never seen before, where it like measures the length of your bones through your hands in order to tell that it's specifically you. But he was like, all right, whatever. He gets in, he gets debriefed, and it's just like a whole bunch of pages on like random like weird shit. And he, keep in mind, he doesn't believe in UFOs. He doesn't believe in any of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets into like the facility. He sees that it's very compartmentalized, like, and he's only working, I think, with like one or two other scientists, and that's it. Everybody else can't talk with each other. Nothing. Like, yeah, a security guard has to like wiggle your penis when you take a pee. Like, that's how the security there is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he goes into one of this hangar and he sees like a UFO, like a disc shaped whatever, but it's got like an American flag on it. So in his mind, he's like, oh, this is the shit that people see. Oh, the fucking military, like this is like a military, like, whatever. It's like, this is, whatever. But things don't get real for him until he actually goes into the lab that he's working in and he sees like this device where you can't touch it. So it almost has like a force field over it. So then
Mm.
in his mind, he's like, oh shit, like, no, like all of this is like real. And then the person that he's working with, he's like, yeah, this is what I do every day. It's like I try to figure out this shit. He's like, we can't like touch it. He's like, we had one and we tried to cut into it, and let's just say the other scientists don't exist anymore. And he's just like, what the fuck? And then
Yeah.
he gets to go into the actual spacecraft. So he says like this craft was built for like a 4 foot tall, like almost like children. Like it's not
Yeah.
made for regular size humans. He's like, there's nothing like all over the walls. Like he's like, it's almost like the spacecraft was like just like welded together. There's no
Oh.
screws, no belt, like bolts or anything. And then he's like, when like you could sit in the chairs again, they're made for like children, but he's like, there's no screen, like you can't see outside. And
Mm-hmm.
then he explains some other shit. But basically, and then he starts to talk about the tests that they have. So they actually test flying it. And he says, like, he's like, this sounds like so weird when I explain it, but he's like, the inside of it becomes translucent so you can see outside.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's like there's no windows, but you can now see outside. And then he's also like, when you're outside, because he's like, I witnessed it, when you look at it, it's like it's not there. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like it has some sort of device that is basically bending light to where it's like translucent on the outside. He's like,
Oh
it's the
wow.
weirdest shit like ever. So
Yeah.
long story short, the way that he described how these UFOs and shit worked on that base, and remember, this is like in the late 70s, early 80s. He was like explaining how this shit worked, and how he got caught was he got drunk with some of his buddies, and he was like, "Yo, you guys want to see some cool shit?" He's like, "Yo, this is like," he was like, "Yo, let's go. We're gonna go in the middle of the desert, and we're gonna go in this area." And we're gonna film. And he's like, they brought fucking beer, lawn chairs, and everything because he didn't think he was gonna get like in trouble. Like he didn't think that they were like
Yeah.
in the area that he was. And he showed his buddies, and they were doing the tests with the fucking UFOs there.
Oh.
He ends up getting caught.
Yeah.
They fucking strip everything from him. Gets fired. They also basically start to erase like his history. So they erase the fact that he worked there. They erase the fact that he graduated from the college that he graduated from. They
Oh
start
wow.
harassing it, like they go crazy on him. So then he comes out and basically with this guy, I forget the guy's name, but he's like prominent in the UFO community right now. He was actually at the current US hearing. and basically spills the beans on everything. And a lot of what he talked about in that first interview from the 80s on how these things fly are how they're being described by the military today.
Wow.
Crazy. So
That's nuts.
being able to fly in specific areas, no inertia, no jet propulsion whatsoever, all of this crazy shit. So I just think it's like that, something like that, a story like that, super compelling.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Nuts, man. Nuts. I told you I could get fucking super weird on you right now.
I feel you, man.
Yeah, man. But it's nuts. So back to the teenage flying
There
saucer.
you go.
Right. You ever watch that movie Flight of the Navigator?
Yeah. You know what's funny? That was the first thing I watched when Disney Plus became a thing because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. I saw it as a kid, but the craziest thing was I realized I had never seen like the first like 5-10 minutes of it. Like I
That's
remember him
crazy.
coming back and like all that stuff, but I don't remember the stuff before all that.
Shit, yo, that's fucking crazy. So
Yeah,
you say that I did the same exact thing when Disney Plus dropped. I was like, all
yeah,
right, let's see like what like movies they have on here that I haven't seen
yeah,
in years. And Flight of the Navigator was on there, and I
yeah,
told my wife, I was like, stop what you're doing. We're fucking watching this right now. It's like
yeah.
I like, and it's like you vaguely remember the movie.
Hmm.
But then when you
Yeah,
watch it, you're like, oh shit, I remember that. Oh, fucking
mm,
Pee Wee Herman was the voice of the fucking
yeah,
UFO. Oh shit. Yo, rest in peace to
yeah.
fucking Pee Wee Herman, man.
Dude, that's crazy because that was like before he was Pee Wee Herman. That's basically the Pee Wee Herman voice, like he was using.
Really?
Yeah, it was a couple
That was
years
before
before.
he was Pee Wee Herman? No
Mm,
way.
yeah.
Really?
Hmm.
I gotta fucking look that up later. That's crazy.
And he was
But
also
yeah,
the
that's a
voice.
legendary movie.
He was also the voice of the original pilot in the Star Tours ride at Disneyland.
I don't think
The
Star
Star,
Tours? What the hell is that?
that was cool. That was an old. I mean, they still have it, but it's a Star Wars themed ride where you're taking a shuttle. It's supposed to be like an airport. Like you're gonna go to a planet, and then
Yeah.
something goes wrong, and you get caught in a big like freaking a Star Wars battle. It's pretty crazy.
Really?
Yeah,
Shit. I don't fucking remember that.
yeah,
And you said that's still there?
yeah. So there, they've updated now. Now like 3CPO is like the pilot, but like yeah,
Yeah, I think I've done a ride definitely with C3PO narrating it.
mm, yeah.
But I don't fucking remember that. That's fucking cool, man. Yeah, shit like that. So when you talked about your comic, that I don't
Hmm.
know why, but that immediately came into my brain was Flight of the Navigator. A boy finds
Yeah,
a fucking UFO and he's like flying around and shit.
yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
kind of like you know, you think about it. Like I remember, I said like I watched that movie a lot when I was a kid. I think I watched it on TV a lot because I tell you, I always missed the beginning. Apparently,
yeah. Even if you paid me to explain the beginning, I feel like the beginning, him and his brother were like sneaking into somebody. Yeah, I can't even remember. I gotta
yeah,
watch that shit again now.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's a
a
good
fun
fucking
one, man.
movie.
Yeah,
Very good movie. And then the next thing that your project reminded me of was, like I said before, Ben 10. Did
yeah.
you take any inspiration from Ben 10?
So I've always been a fan of the Men of Action. They created that. They created what was the other one called? It's called something Rex. But they wrote like Big Hero 6. They worked on a lot of the Disney animated stuff.
Okay.
And so I always liked that kind of stuff. I would read their comics and they got turned into cartoons, and so it was
Yeah.
very like I like that whole like vibe of it, like you know, like the whole old school superhero. Like it's literally like you got you got someone with powers dealing with bad people with powers, and you know that just simple formula, you know.
Yeah. I like the aspect of kids with superpowers more than adults with superpowers.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
kids have like really cool and dope adventures.
Hmm.
Yeah,
See,
that's cool.
it's funny because I was talking to my girlfriend about this a while ago about how like they don't really do it as much anymore, but like teenagers, like if you had a show a teenager and they got superpowers, like would they be good guys? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Fuck
Like
no.
yeah, because teenagers are
Fuck
very
no.
rebellious and you know like
You see the movie Project X? That's
yeah,
how they would be with fucking superpowers. Most
right,
definitely. They're fucking juggling kegs and fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're doing crazy shit. Seeing who could
Yeah.
drink like the water tower full of beer
Yeah.
in
Right.
practice. That's what they would fucking be doing. I feel like you have to be either like uh, a super young kid to get your superpowers, and you also
Yeah.
have to have good parents too. Otherwise, you'll
Yeah.
be a super villain, and
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
you know how those go. You know how those go.
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
do you have more than one villain in your project, or is it just like one villain for the first story?
Yeah. There's a couple. We're setting up a lot of things, and this is actually the first 5 issues is setting up like the first part of this bigger saga.
Okay,
And it's gonna it's like me and Miguel always joke about how we have like 100 issues in mind already. Uh,
gotta
the
have it.
story, yeah, the story's huge. It's a big storyline.
How long does it take you? So you guys write it together?
Yeah. Hmm.
How long does it take you guys to write?
It depends. Like honestly, we wrote these first 5 issues during the lockdown.
Hmm.
Um, we actually had released issue one in 2019, and the plan was to do the next one like right away. But then everything would,
Yeah,
world changed, and so we decided, you know what? Let's just sit down and write all 5 of the issues. And even when we did last year's Kickstarter, it was for issues one and two. So when we did the first issue in 2019, it was meant for I host a show in East LA, like a comic expo,
okay,
and so we wanted to premiere it there, and we kind of ran out of time. So like there was a couple pages that got cut because of that. So
yeah,
when we did the Kickstarter last year, we re-added those pages and we like extended it a little.
okay. All right, nice. Are you looking to get picked up by a publisher? Or are you looking to just be like self promoted, self indie?
Yeah. You know what? I don't know yet because we were talking about we could go either way at this point, but like we were talking about once we get the first 5 issues out and we have that nice little collection, like at that point we might start submitting it to publishers
Okay,
because I feel like that's a big market where like these little like graphic novels like that are all ages. Like
yeah,
you see a lot of that in like Target and stuff like that now, and so I
yes.
think that would be a
I've
big
seen a lot of graphic novels for kids, like all kind of shit. And I'm like,
yeah.
where was this shit when I was younger? I used to get like parents would give me shit. My parents, teachers were like, you can't read books with just images. And now look
Yeah.
at it. That's all that Target has right now.
Yeah,
Fucking
exactly.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
Fucking
So,
crazy.
but yeah, we've been talking about that, like like trying to see if we can get to different markets and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, nice. You should check out lesser known comics. I feel like
Okay.
your comic is like their speed. Obviously, I haven't read it yet, but just based on what you're telling me in the art style, like they have a comic Tank McGregor where it's like this bounty hunter that flies around space, but is
Mhm.
like so much comedy. He's like trying to hunt down this robot like prostitute. Like, obviously it's
Oh,
more adult rated, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
still, I feel like it's something that I would see on like a Saturday morning cartoon, maybe Adult Swim, because
yeah,
again
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
little bit, but yeah, I feel like your comic kind of like fits in with their style. But
Oh,
again,
cool.
that's obviously as like you go along, and if you're looking for a publisher and shit like that. um but yeah, man, I always want to point people out and make sure that whoever that I'm speaking with, just do whatever you want, have the most success possible, man.
No, I feel you for sure, man.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. Is there any other projects that you guys are planning on writing down the road?
We have a lot of ideas, but this is our main focus right now is this book. Um, like a lot of people from the last campaign and everyone that has read it, they've been a big fan of Goro's friend Cece. She's a shape-shifting like bounty hunter alien, and we've been talking about doing like a spin-off of with her at some point.
Okay.
Just it's, 'cause I think a lot of people are big fans of that character. Like we'll create these stickers, and hers is always like the most popular ones.
Okay. Okay. Who's your what's like your favorite alien of all time? It could be
Oh
anything. It could be
man,
adult rated aliens. It could be something like funny, like something
yeah.
stupid. Like what's your favorite alien?
It's funny you said that. For some reason, I've been on this Elf kick recently.
Well, I was not expecting that, yo. Alf, see now we're really dating ourselves. Like I don't know,
Right?
like the age range of my audience. When
Yeah,
you mention Alf, like yeah, now we're getting into fucking like, oh yeah, we're 30 and above over here.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I've been getting to that recently. I think it was on like Peacock or something, and I ended up watching like 11 episodes straight without even noticing. Right?
That's crazy. That's crazy. I haven't seen Alf in so he was so weird. I felt like I was scared of him when I was younger.
Yeah,
I definitely was scared of him when I was younger. I felt like when I was sleeping at night and it was like dark, that Alf was just standing in the corner menacingly looking at me with that fucking massive nose and the teeth and the dark
yeah.
eyes. Yeah, he was creepy as fuck.
Dude, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that too, because as I'm watching it, it's kind of unnerving when you see him walk around,
It
or you
fucking
see him,
is,
right?
right? Oh, he's like a puppet and he's shorter than everybody else. And yeah, creepy as
Yeah,
fuck, man. But the show is also funny at the same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And he ate cats, right?
He tried to. Yeah, he in his home planet he ate cats, but
Yeah,
so
fuck cats. I hate cats anyway. You can eat cats all you want, man. That's why I eat China. No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. No,
oh,
I'm joking. I'm going too far right now. I'm going too far. Um, I wasn't expecting that.
yeah, yeah,
All right, cool. So we got Alf. I don't even who's my favorite alien. Shit, man. I definitely like the xenomorphs.
yeah. Classic, classic
They
design.
scared the fuck out of me. My dad let me watch Alien 2. He didn't let me watch it, but like he didn't tell me to get out of the room at the same time. And
Yeah,
I just remember when Ripley was in the shower and the alien was like coming from the side, and
yeah,
that shit burned into my memory and got me like I was so scared. And then as I got older, so fascinated with that alien.
yeah.
It's fucking unconventional.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's like this weird ass predator esque.
Hmm.
Knock on, I mean, not knock on wood, pun intended, no pun
Yeah,
intended, but this weird ass fucking alien that looks disturbing. It doesn't look like anything that you've ever seen. It's fucking fast, dangerous. Its blood is acid. It's fucking cool.
yeah. That's cool,
They
man.
should have the that Mexican government should have hired whoever created the xenomorphs. If they showed that shit, the whole world would be on fire right now. What fucking xenomorphs are out there? Are you kidding me? We got mummified fucking xenomorphs just laying in Peru. Fucking yeah.
Yeah.
You thought the riots during COVID was bad. That definitely would be happening right now.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, fucking crazy. But cool, man, cool. Yo, Peter, this was fun, man. This
Oh,
was
for sure.
fun. I like what you have going on. I like what your project is. I like that it's not so serious. I like that it's for kids. I like that it's something that's cool. It's like this kid gets superpowers from a UFO. Like that's dope, man.
Yeah.
So much potential there, man. But yeah, plug your project, talk about your project, promote your Kickstarter, and then we'll get out of here and we'll
Cool,
stay
man.
back for Patreon.
Cool, cool. Yeah. So, you can find everything at Teenage Flying Saucer. So, like all the social media, the website, it's all Teenage Flying Saucer. The links for the Kickstarter will be on all that stuff.
Cool. There you go. And I will have the link in all of the description. YouTube, podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to. We appreciate you guys. Peter, I appreciate you hopping on, man, and chatting up with me. This is a
Yeah,
long
man.
time in the making. I know this is
Yeah.
supposed to be like my second interview, bro, but
Oh,
it's no big deal. No big deal, man. Pleasure having
cool.
you on.
Thank you for having me, man.
Excited to read your project, man. And yo, anytime that you have something that you want to promote, or if you just want to hang back and kick it and hop on for another fucking episode, you're always welcome, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, we'll see you guys later. Peace.